Hi, Deidre here from our Upcycled Life. Today's video is all about crafting and making Christmas decor with napkins. We all have lots of napkins in our crafting stash, and I'm going to show you some great ideas that you can use some of those up and create beautiful Christmas decor. We got lots of work. Let's get started. First project, we're going to upcycle some wine bottles that I had in the recycling bin and I have people save for me. We are going to make some graphics to put onto these wine bottles, and I love making my homemade napkins. These are so easy to make, and if you don't want to buy a whole pack of napkins or you can't find something you like, this works perfect. I've taken 1 ply of a napkin and on some double-sided tape and attached it to a piece of computer paper because we're going to run this through our printer and we want to make sure that napkin is secure on that piece of paper so it doesn't get bunched up. And I put it through my LaserJet printer and printed off these graphics. If you don't have a LaserJet printer, you can do this on an inkjet printer, but once you get to this step, I would spray it with a little bit of hairspray in case your inkjet printer runs a little bit when you introduce some Mod Podge onto it. We're just gonna peel away those napkins from that piece of computer paper. And it doesn't matter if it rips a little bit when you're taking it off, because when you decoupage these onto your projects, you want to have a rough edge around the outside. I've designed all of these graphics for today's project on the wine bottles, and they're available in my Etsy store if you want to check them out and you can craft with them yourself. I'll put the link down below in the description. So that's how easy you can create your own custom napkins to put on your DIY projects. The wine bottles I've sprayed with some primer, and then I painted on 2 coats of my homemade chalk paint. That works really well on glass. I have a full tutorial on how to paint glass without it chipping and peeling. I'll put the link down below in the description. I've put one of my graphics facing down on a plastic sleeve and dripped a little bit of water on it. And of course, I got a little aggressive. I ripped it at the bottom, but that's okay. It's not going to matter. And then I like to make my edge ragged because when you put it on your project, it blends in better and you don't see a straight line. I like just to take the edge of my scissors and just really carefully just remove a little bit around the outside edge. Now I'm going to use my Mod Podge mat and apply it to the wine bottle where I want the graphic, pick up that plastic sleeve and place it on the project. This is a fantastic way to decoupage without any bubbles and wrinkles. And then I'm going to seal it up with some water-based polyurethane, or you can use some polyacrylic. Both work fantastic and won't yellow. And how beautiful are these? Created from wine bottles that were in my recycling bin. Project, we're decoupaging some soap. These were all the rage in the 70s. Everybody had them in their home and they're starting to make a little bit of a comeback. So I'm going to show you how to do it. You're going to use 1 ply of a napkin, and I'm using some ivory soap. You want a bar of soap that's flat. I'm going to pick out what I think is going to look best on this piece of soap out of the napkin, and then we're going to take the Mod Podge mat and we're going to brush on a thick coat onto that bar of soap. And then we're going to apply that napkin, pressing it right into that wet Mod Podge and smoothing it out, making sure there's no bubbles and wrinkles, and then put on another thick coat right on top of this. Now we're going to set it aside and let it dry completely. I'm going to put 3 more coats of this Mod Podge mat on top of this bar of soap, letting them completely dry in between, and then it's going to be ready to trim off that extra napkin around the bar of the soap. Now the biggest question that I get asked all the time about this project is, can I use it? Absolutely you can. It will suds up from the bottom. The napkin will stay on the top. It's almost like it goes waterproof, and you will use that soap up and it'll just go down to a little sliver where you'll be left with that napkin on the top. Or you don't even have to use it. It just looks really cute if you just want to display it in your bathroom or at a sink. I know these bring up beautiful memories from my grandma and grandpa's house because my grandma always had them displayed in her bathroom at Christmas. Okay, this is a fun napkin DIY and it's almost magical. You can find these words at Michael's, at the dollar store, but they're so intricate to decoupage on and then sand off in between all of those letters. I'm going to show you how you can do this quick and easy and create beautiful letters with just a napkin. We're going to use our Mod Podge mat and one layer of that napkin again. Now you really want to put on quite a bit of that Mod Podge. I'm making a bit of a mess. I'm outside in my shed, but you want to make sure you get it right out to the edges. Now this DIY works perfect with napkin or really thin tissue paper. As soon as you use any type of paper or fabric or anything like that, it does not work well. We have to have something that's very thin because we're going to burn around the edges, and you have to make sure you have a very fast, quick burn, or you're going to have scorching and you're going to have burn marks around your letters. So pick out a really thin napkin or really thin tissue paper and apply it into that wet Mod Podge. We have to work quickly because we want our Mod Podge to stay wet. Cut around all of that extra napkin, get your lighter out and just burn, and it'll go and mold and burn right into all of those letters. You don't have to sand it. I'm out in my shed, well ventilated, and I also have a water bottle handy in case of a flare up. Be really careful doing this if you're in your home because we don't want to have any accidents. Do not let your Mod Podge dry. We want to do this while it's still wet or it will burn into your letters. Once we've burned off all of that extra napkin, brush off any of the little ashes, seal it up with some spray polyacrylic sealer, and you're ready to incorporate it into your DIY project. If you don't want to go out and spend a whole bunch of money on a Christmas card, I'm going to show you how you can make one quick and easy with a piece of computer paper and a Christmas napkin. We're going to remove the backing off of that napkin so we just have one ply, and get a piece of computer paper and fold it in half. And then we're going to see where our napkin's going to look the best on that piece of folded napkin. We're going to trim off all that extra napkin so it's even to that piece of computer paper. And if you have a little bit of a wrinkle in your napkin, you can always iron that out. Get a piece of parchment paper, put it over your napkin, and I'm ironing on my highest setting with no steam, and it'll get rid of that wrinkle and it'll lay really nice. Now get out some cling wrap or some saran wrap and rip off a piece a little bit bigger than your piece of computer paper. Lay it down, flatten it out, and then we're going to cut around the edges and get rid of any extra so we just have a little bit hanging off. We're going to lay that napkin on top of that saran and iron it onto that piece of computer paper. The saran wrap melts and it adheres that napkin onto the piece of paper, and you have a beautiful custom Christmas card. All kinds of these wooden cutouts that I've kind of collected along the way from the dollar store. I'm going to show you how you can turn them into beautiful gift tags for Christmas. I'm going to paint them with some white acrylic paint, and then we're going to do the same method that we did making the Christmas card to do these tags. I'm going to find a piece of that napkin that I like to fit on that tag, cut out that cling wrap so it's just a little bit bigger than that wooden shape, and then we're going to iron that napkin on top of that cling wrap. It's going to melt everything together and we're going to have beautiful gift tags. Check around all of your edges, make sure it's melted into that wooden piece really well, and then you can take a little piece of sandpaper and just sand around the edges, and it's going to give a nice clean edge to these gift tags. You can then drill a little hole in the top, add a piece of twine, and you're ready to attach these to your Christmas gifts. I hope hope you've enjoyed all of these Christmas DIYs using napkins and you found some inspiration to make some of these DIYs yourself. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video. And if you love this video, I'm sure you'll love either of these next two. Take care.